TrenchMob Testimonies, where we dive into how your test became your testimony. TrenchMob family, man, welcome. We got a special guest on today, man, Steve McLendon, Super Bowl champion Steve McLendon. You always got to make sure you say that first when you say his name for sure, man. He earned that right. So, man, Steve, man, I appreciate you coming on today.
I appreciate you having me on, man. It's a great honor to be able to stand before everybody and speak the truth about the game, about the trench war, the battle of the trenches, the mob family. Uh, just a pleasure for me to be able to do this.
No doubt, brother. No doubt. And that's what you did, man, for a long time in the NFL, a long time in college. And you were in the trenches and you did a hell of a job in the trenches, man. And now you're training, you're training a bunch of guys in the trenches. You're training guys that are not in the trenches too. You're doing a lot of different sports too. You got some kiddos, man. So talk about, before we get into the Steve McLendon, the in the trenches. Talk about, man, the family, man, the husband, the father, and everything that goes with the kids and training them. You say you're on a roll right now in Pennsylvania, man. Just kind of talk about that.
So, I mean, like my boys all play travel lacrosse for national teams. So we in Pennsylvania this weekend for the circuit. Getting ready to jump off our first fall tournament, man. My oldest son is a face-off specialist midfielder. My two younger boys, they're attack midfielders. Very dynamic, different type of athletes that I'm used to seeing with football. These kids got to be agile, got to be extremely smart, play fast on the run, have to be physical, have to be in shape. The agility has to be different, has to be a lot better. And they have done that. They have proven it over and over and over and again. So like we now they are able to showcase their talents on the road. And this national event is held by Nike. It's called the Circuit at Nike, and it's also like they also play travel across with their club teams as well. And I train them. I not only just train them, but I'm a man of many. I always say many talents. But if you love sports, you'll be able to teach a sport by studying. I found a great deal of passion for lacrosse because of it's like all sports in one. It has the dynamics of soccer. It has the stick like a baseball bat, ball like a baseball. Um, to be able to swing it, to be able to shoot, you have to have goals like basketball. You have the defense got to be slide like basketball. The physicality is like hockey and football. The skill level of athletes sometimes can be very, very like football players and just be like spot shooters and it's very dynamic to see all these different types of talents on the lacrosse field. That's why I fell in love with the sport because in fact it was like all sports in one, and they're highly conditioned athletes. They're super highly conditioned athletes. Like I said, me and the family traveled up to come watch our boys play. But I train lacrosse, soccer, football, basketball, baseball players, not just for the sport, but I train them on the body movements, the body mechanics, the strength, uh, seeing when their bodies is off, and what helped them. What I felt like I found a great deal of passion in was I can find the weakness within within your sport and can help you. I can exploit it for you to help you become a better person, a better player. I do it with all my athletes. Like I tell them, I can't tell a quarterback how to throw, but I can tell if your throwing motion is off. Because in
Right.
fact, what I'm watching is how can I sack you. So as I watch, that elbow is down. I have time to beat this rusher. When that elbow comes up, I got to be able to get off my block. I got to get off my block and get my hands up, so I can see
Yep.
it from a different point. Running backs, just being able to see it, wide receivers, being able to see the dynamics, and not just only catching. Most people think it's all about just the routes, but most kids don't even know how to release. They don't even know how to get off the line. Most kids, most kids have false steps or their hands are down. It's just like very basic, simple stuff, and the body mechanics are weak. So I help with their strength and condition and development. Um, in the stages of the sport, even at the high school, college, and the pro level. I take them all the way back to the beginning because technique kind of overrule everything.
And no doubt, man. And you do a heck of a job of training those guys in all those sports. And no doubt, I knew you would be doing something to that nature because it has always been in you to be a motivator, a trainer, so to speak. You know what I mean? Because when we worked out together at Troy, I mean, I was motivated every day to come in that weight room, bro, and give my everything because I knew you ain't gonna allow nothing else but my best every day. People, I still talk to some of my players now today. They don't believe me, man. I'm like, look, man, we was in that handful for 5, like reps. It was nothing, and grinding on squats, cleans, man. And I'm telling my guys now, trying to motivate them to push themselves even further than they really can, man, because sometimes your mind gets in the way. And I think you do a heck of a job of motivating people, and not just people, but yourself. And it kind of, kind of segments into how your season, I mean, your career went for you. As far as you go through 2 years, 2009, you were brought in as a free agent for the Steelers, right? And you get cut in the final cuts, and you brought back for the practice squad. That next year, you go through the same thing. You get cut, final cut, and brought back to the practice squad in 2010. And then you finally get signed on the active roster. I think you play against Tennessee, and you recover a fumble, and you have a tackle, you have a big game, and you get cut again. Not really cut, but you get downgraded to practice squad again, and you get signed back.
Mhm.
Kind of talk through that process, man, of going through that when you know you're good enough. You've proven that you're good enough. You played in the game. You had 2 years of, off season with the team, and you know the system. How did you motivate yourself to go through those times and continuously understand and believe in yourself and get everything out of yourself? Well, some people just give up.
It's really the mentality. Most people say the word mentality, man. Before it says mental first. So like you can't have a mentality without the mental being stable, and that's one thing that I take a great deal of pride in was my mental. So when I looked at it, when I look back over it, as a young guy, never left, not have never been that far away from home. And the thing that stuck with me the most, especially in my first year, was was this: I have an opportunity, something great, but if I be weakened and not stand strong on all the toes and the limbs that I have been given, then I will fall and I will fail by the wayside. I will fail and I will fall by the wayside. And my first year was a growing moment for me, a defining moment for me because that growing pains, everything that I desired, I wanted was right there. So I knew it was necessary for me to grow. Um, I was able to be around Super Bowl champions, future Hall of Famers. I was able to grow and develop. Like most people don't understand, sometimes it's about the development. Sometimes it's about the growth. It's not about the time and the season that you're in. It's not about yourself. Sometimes it's just about growing. It's about development. And that's the reason why you're in that season. That's the reason why these things are happening. So I never looked at it as a bad. I always looked at it as a positive. Now going into my second year, which was my year, I was just like, all right, this is not happening again. Like I came in with that same mentality, but I came in with a mentality that wasn't just all. I was only focusing on me. I didn't care about nobody else. I didn't care about the team. I didn't care about the bigger picture. I just focused on me. It's like I'm not getting cut no more. I'm not getting cut no more. And I work, I work, I work. And where I found my humbling experience. When they say it's a humbling experience in every sport, it's a humbling experience in every sport. I found my humbling experience because I was having a phenomenal camp, balling, and just a freak as having somebody get hit and thrown into my knee, and I missed the whole preseason. I missed the whole preseason with a torn MCL. And Coach Tomlin was like, "Man, you was having a phenomenal preseason. We're gonna bring you back on practice squad." Right then, as I sat there and just watched all the guys prepared, I knew this was my time. I just knew it was my time, and I became weakened. And as for me, it's like I just started praying about it. And my thing was just like, where was your focus? Like, where was your focus? And I started thinking, it was like, where was my focus? My focus was only on me and not the picture before me, not the opportunity before me, not the growth and development that was happening to me. my focus was just only on me. It became a selfish focus. And instead of having a open-minded, respectful, demanding, trusting the process, trusting the journey, focus, I was just only focusing on me and what I wanted. And I found humble. I felt humble. I was proud of the way that I went because without all those things, I wouldn't be able to cherish and love the things that I do have now. That second year, coming in playing that Tennessee game, had a pressure from recovery, had a tackle for a loss and two other tackles. But it was just one of those games where it was just like, man, I'm here. I'm here. But then after that game, they made that cut, and it wasn't like he told me, he said, Steve, I'm not cutting you. It's just we have to we have to get this guy back on the field as well. So when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers contacted them, it was like, well, you're gonna have to make a decision. You're gonna have to let Steve go, or you're gonna have to let a linebacker go. I watched Coach Tomlin cut a second round linebacker and bring me back to active roster. That's
Mm.
when I knew. I was just like, all right, this meant something. Everything I went through was part of my process, was part of my journey, and it worked out for the best.
Man, I heard so many great things about Coach Tomlin, man. I had the opportunity to meet him when I was at LSU. He came to the pro day. I think he was going to see Arden Key at the time and a couple other guys too. I was director of player personnel there, and man, he was, you know, when you meet him, he has that chi, that aura about him that's like, okay, he's walking in the room, he's the man, you know, and it's not cockiness. He's humble as can be, but he's assured. He's assured himself, and he understands the game. He understands what he's looking for. And if you're on, I feel like if you're on his good side, then it's good, you know. But kind of talk about Mike, man, and his, kind of role in your career and how he helped you out in your career. You talked about that moment, but I'm sure there's more moments like that you had with him.
But Coach Chapman always had like he was a man of many words, but the words that like the few words that he said, he stick with you forever. Like he has
Mhm.
sayings like the standard is the standard, or two dogs, one bone, or just take the field, or being where your feet are. Like when he was the guy, he was the guy that in my life that I was just like, man, you don't have to say many words, but it says so many words. Like just that standard is the standard. Nobody should really have to tell you what a high standard or a low standard is because the standard is Super Bowl champion. Standard is winning. That's the standard. And that's the standard. But I shouldn't have to tell you no more. Don't be the guy. Like he never had like rules about not be here, not go there. All he just said, don't be the guy, and you knew right away what it meant. Don't be the guy that get in trouble. Don't be the guy that does anything that's not of what he's supposed to be doing. So don't be the guy. But one thing I could say about Coach Tomlin was he demands greatness. He demands greatness out of every individual that he comes in contact with. And I don't care if it's just in speaking. I don't care if it is in like he's coaching, teaching them. If it's at practice, he demands the greatest version of yourself. It doesn't matter. That's how he always been. I know my 7 years with him, it was phenomenal. Um, and he knew how to push your buttons to get you going. And like he never had to be negative. He never had to be negative, and he never sugarcoated anything. He never hid anything from me. And I can remember one of the biggest things, like we was getting ready to play. We was getting ready to play. I want to say Cincinnati. As a team before, and I want to say they had like a good rushing attack or whatever. And he was like, Steve, this running back has been averaging 4 yards a carry. Um, we don't give up over 3 yards. And he circled it. He pointed at me. He did this in front of the whole team. And like for right then, I took it personal, not in a personal way at him, but personal was like, man, we're about to stop this run, bro. Like I don't care what nobody said. We're about to stop this run, whether how y'all feel or not. And that whole week of practice, mentality wise, that was one of the ways how he pushed the button because he wasn't gonna hide it. If you're gonna be a nose tackle in this NFL in this league, then you have to make sure we stop the run. And man, we went out, man. We had a tremendous performance, but that's how he would do it. And every day. He was just like, man, when you have problems, man, your problems stay on the outside. Don't allow your problems to come inside. He said your problems gonna be problems until they are solved. And he was just
Mm.
like, so, but when you take the field, but your problems gonna still be there. But you take the field with the same standards we always had. And man, when he used to say that, he just used to always get everybody going. Just like, man, your problems of the life, your problems of the world would never change. You always have a problem until you have a solution for your problem. Continue to take the field. What take the field means take the next step to getting better. And that standard has always been winning. Whether you win on the field, whether you win in life, that standard is still the same. Win.
Love it, man. I love it. You talk about you had 7 years with him, man. I know you got a lot of stuff from him, but 7 years with him, and then you get the opportunity to get a big deal, and you go to New York Jets, man, and talk about leaving like family. That's family, 7 years at one spot, and then you leave there and you go to the Jets, and it's a whole new family, a whole new vibe, whole new coaching staff, new teammates. How do you make that adjustment as an individual such as yourself, as you're in the trenches, you've been grinding and you've been working your tail off to get to where you are with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then all of a sudden, a bigger deal in a situation where you had to take it comes about. Like, how do you go about that?
Honestly, man, like so, Coach Todd Bowles is another guy like Coach Tomlin, and I just remember him giving me a call. He said, "Man, Steve, I think it's time for us to showcase your talents in a different way." He said, "I've been watching you for the past few years, and I think you need to showcase your talent in a different way." And he was another man of he said a lot of words. There was every word that he said it had a true meaning to it. And he sold me with, we went 10-6 last year, but I want to do that 10-6. I want to do that plus with you. And when he said that, I said, man, I'm on my way.
That's it.
My mentor coached up under him, Breslin Butler, that is with the Jacksonville Jaguars. He coached up under Ty Bowles. He played up under Ty Bowles. And I was just like, who is a better person for me to learn from than my mentor's mentor? So I took that leap of faith and went with Coach Bowles to New York, and it kind of opened up and for me to go to Tampa because I had that open relationship with him that wherever he went, he was going to bring me along with him because he trusted me in everything that I did.
There you go, man. Man, that was truly a blessing for you to get that opportunity, and then you get an opportunity with somebody that you have a connection with, and good people.
Absolutely.
That's one thing Coach Logo always said, man, and he's still my mentor to this day. Is always put yourself in position to be around good people, and when you're around good people, usually good things happen. And
Yes.
that's kind of what's been happening for you in your life and your career. And then you leave there after what, 5-6 seasons for at the
Four
Jets.
got traded.
Got traded, but the trade was to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, a trade versus getting a deal and all this, it's a little different. So you go into that situation in 2020 not really knowing. And people look at, he's on the back end of his career. It's D line. He's been banging all these years. It might be that
Right.
time for Steve to get up out of here, man. So you go there and you go through one season. Had a good solid season, but that I think it's the next season y'all won a Super Bowl, correct?
No, we wanted my first year.
That
I got
first that
so
first year there. Wow.
the year they traded for me, the year they traded for me, that's when we won the Super Bowl. And like I knew I was gonna win the Super Bowl that year, man. It was one of those things where you just felt it. Like it was something that was put in my spirit. Like I had been training for. I had most people don't know this, man, but I had seen the same time. I had seen it for like 6 years in a row, like 5, 6 years in a row. Seen it, and before I remember telling a friend of mine. I said, man, before you see, it's like, man, I just think about like the faith that you have to have, the belief that you have to have. And I was like, man, you gotta have strength like Job. You gotta have faith like Job. No matter
Mhm.
what, you're gonna go through some things, some trials and tribulations. but you got to be strong like Joe. And not only did I know that I was talking to myself, I thought I was talking to, not only I was talking to him, but I was talking to myself. I find out that I had to go through some trials and tribulation. Everything that I helped build with the New York Jets, man, was just to put them in a better place, help them see something better, see that players really are involved, love the game. Like if you go into the New York Jets facility now and seeing the trophy when you first walk in on both sides of the building, they wasn't there before. And I take great deal of pride of, remember, I bringing it to the GMs, the owner and the head coach at the time. It's like, man, what do the guys see when they first walk in? This is a beautiful facility. Not only do they should just see glass and white walls, they need to see what the goal is. They need to, is everything is mental. So if they see Super Bowl rings, they see Super Bowl trophies, if they see the Hall of Famers, they see greatness all the time, then it's only going to put them in a situation to only want to be great. So I take a great deal of pride. But that year, I just knew it because I had been seeing the year. I had been seeing 1234. And I remember on August, it was like, I think August 13th, we was on a Zoom call because that's when like the COVID year, it was like
Right.
that COVID year, August, like COVID year or whatever. And I told him, I said, Coach, no disrespect. I said, I'm playing in the Super Bowl with y'all or without y'all this year. Like, and I saved it in my phone. I was like, I'm playing in the Super Bowl. And everybody was just like, Steve, man, you don't went crazy. It was like, bro, I was like, no, why can't we win it? I said, bro, we have a quarterback, we have a running back, we have an offensive line, we have a defensive line, we have receivers, we have DBs, we have D line. I was like, bro, why can't we win it? I said, because y'all don't believe that y'all the best. That's why we can't win it. I said, me personally, I don't give a dang what no PFF, what no coach, what no other man, woman say. I feel personally inside of me that I'm the best. Like,
Mindset.
and my mind was just completely different. Not only knowing that that was my 12th year in the league and I was 34 years of age,
Mm-hmm.
that's when I knew that, man, it was destined. God had already told me, look, bro, you winning it. I seen it
1234.
years. I had to go through the pain. Like most people don't understand, man, a blessing is not just a blessing unless you go through something that you can cherish that blessing. I will
Mm,
forever cherish that moment, that time, that blessing because of that opportunity that I went through, the pain, the growing pain, the journey. And I think that was my
mm.
most beautiful moment. I didn't never look at it as a bad. I look at it as a
Right.
growth. And going from the
Mm,
growth, and I grew from the growth, and I ultimately got what I had been praying and working for. Um, and I always tell people, man, faith without work is dead. You can just have faith in your mind, but if you don't put your faith to action, then it is never going to work. Like
man, that's
you just
profound.
it's not going to work. So you
That,
always have to work with your faith. You have to put your faith into action. Like that's why I love like the company that made active faith. It's the most important thing. Like stop sitting there. You asking for a blessing. You asking for a message. You asking for peace. You asking for all these things from my Savior. But what are you doing in return? What actions are you putting in play? What steps are you taking? You always say you have to crawl. Well, he asks you to crawl to him. You always say you have to crawl before you walk. Now you have to walk to him. So what have you done actively towards him to get that blessing that you desire to have? So,
mm.
and that's just my mentality, my mindset. So I always just keep it there. Right? I can't have faith in something unless I ain't gonna act on it.
That's it. And that's that, man. You said that's profound. You said a lot, brother. You said a lot because that's life, right? That's what we go through in life. And people don't understand it until you go through it. People don't run to God until they feel like they have to. But sometimes you got to run to God no matter what. When things are going good, when things are going bad, run to Him, pray, get on your knees and pray, man, and be active. Like me and my wife was just talking about that. Like, what are we doing, on our end to make sure that we receive all our blessings? Because one thing that we try to do is human nature. We want to give God. You're supposed to give it all to God, right? But human nature makes us. I'm gonna give him a this. I'm gonna give him that. I'm gonna give him pieces of this and that. I was listening to a sermon. And my wife was at this church this past weekend, and it's a story of I forget the details of it, but it's a story of when God asks you, to give all of you to Him. He asks this individual for his bowl of rice, and this individual was like, "No, I'm gonna give you a piece of one grain of rice." And that person took that one grain of rice and turned it into a gold coin. He said, "Just imagine if you'd have gave me that full bowl of rice, all the blessings you would have received. If you would have gave all of you. So if you give all of you, then you'll receive all your blessings that God already has for you. It's already been written. You just got to live it the right way." So you said it a lot. Said a lot, there, man. That's profound. Want to kind of get to the part of the podcast, man. I always ask guys, and the name of the podcast is TrenchMob Testimonies. We talk to D-line coaches, current players, ex-players, teammates, of me that at Troy and so on. But one thing I always ask is, what time in your life, what was your biggest challenge, your biggest test? What was your biggest test that allows you to tell your testimony now in life or in your career, whatever it may be?
So that's funny that you asked me that, man. I have 3 defining moments of my life that helped me realize it happened at three different stages of my life. First one was when I was in high school. Um, I ended up getting hurt from not listening and paying attention to my coaches. They being highly recruited out of high school, and I ended up horseplaying around in my senior season, and a kid hit me in my knee, and it tears my MCL. Now I'm out for 4 to 6 weeks, and while I'm out those 4 to 6 weeks, all I can do is just sit back and say I let my team down. Then I realized that in that moment it was just like, man, this is not a game of just horse playing around. This is possibly be your career. This is gonna be your scholarship. So as I fought back, I came back from that. I almost thought that I was gonna lose my scholarships, like all my offers that I had. It was just like one of those moments where you humble yourself before the Lord. Literally, you have to. And you, as a high school senior, you thinking like, man, there ain't nothing God can do about this. I'm hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally, like for me, I just prayed, family prayed. I came back, finished the season strong, and everything that I worked for before, it was still there and more. That was the first one. The second one was when I was in college. Going into my junior year, I had this mindset. It was like, it was mindset. I was just like, man, I'm really kind of over school, tired of school. Like I didn't understand of them always. They'll tell you one thing and they'll bring other guys in. This is when I was young minded, so I didn't understand. And I remember I was just like, bro, I was saying, man, I'm the best D lineman that we have. That's always been my mentality. And I was just like, man, I'm about to go into my junior year and I'm about to kill it. And I'm about to just enter the draft. Like I was just fed up with so much stuff. And I was fed up with so much stuff, and I was just like, this is what I'm gonna do. I told my parents, they was trying to tell me to they were trying to tell me to chill. Like I was like, nah, man, this is it for me. And end up going back to come back to school after the summer. I was in phenomenal shape, but end up finding out, man, that I had got sick, and they told me I had non-Hodgkin lymphoma and I had cancer. I had had that biopsy done. They told me that, and they told me I wasn't better to play football. And I remember me telling the doctor was the first time I met with a doctor. He told me that he said that I had 99% chance. And I was like, man, you know what, man, let me die playing football. This is what I love to do. Just let me die playing football. I'll be all right, and I'm okay with that. And like my family was really upset with me with my decision. And I was like, man, I'm not doing no treatment. I'm not doing any of that. So I go to a cancer center. And like I'm in Montgomery, Alabama, and I go to this cancer center with my mom. We are early. I watch this little girl walk in. They roll in on the chair when she come out. It just didn't look the same. She went in with a smile. It came out like she was just drained. And I remember telling the doctor, and I'm just like, doctor, I'm sorry, but to tell you this, but I don't have what y'all say I have. And I told I looked at my mom, I was like, man, we talk about faith, and faith has got to be strong. I said, how you not believing that I'm already healed? That is, and this is what God want me to do. I was just like, nah, I don't have what they say I had. I was like, I'm sorry we wasted your time, Doc, but I don't have what y'all say I had. And that within the college one was the first one I was diagnosed. The second one in college, still in college. And it was just that seeing that what people go through, like that struggle. Like, man, I truly believe I'm a man, or I truly believe faith is a powerful thing. And believing is a powerful thing. Not only believing, but believing with knowing that is already healed. Like people don't understand when they say you can move mountains as like mountains in your life are these issues. People really think that when they looking at it in a literal sense, like his mountain can move from here to there. No, the mountains in your life can move from here to there. And I seen that mountain from in Montgomery, Alabama, because I went and did another biopsy in Birmingham, Alabama. They take the lymph node out. And when they take the lymph node out, it comes back and say, I don't have cancer. So like, not
Mm.
only did I believe with knowing that I didn't have it. Never before anybody ever told me that I didn't have it. I already knew I didn't have what they said I had. And I did another checkup in Birmingham, and I remember a lady walking in, and I tell people this story now, and they come like, bro, man, you tripping. I was like, no, it might be a trip to you, but it's the truth to me. And I don't have to have anybody else to believe me. But I know what I saw, I know what I felt. And I was remember sitting in the room, a lady came in, told me to take this pill. I took this pill. And she said, you're gonna be all right, everything's gonna be good. She walks out, the doctor walked back in, and the doctor's like, well, we're gonna take you, get ready. I was like, well, this lady just came in. I stopped the doctor. I was like, well, this lady just came in and gave me this pill and I already took it. He was like, nobody's supposed to come in this room. Then he go out and ask people, did someone come in this room? And it was like nobody walked in that room. I said, man, I just saw somebody. This lady just gave me a pill to take. I know what I saw. I was like, and they thought I was tripping. And I was like, man, I know what I saw. So like,
Right.
I'm like, bruh, I know I ain't tripping. Like I just knew that I wasn't tripping. And like I know I wasn't going crazy or anything like that. So they ended up taking me over to MRI. And it was an older lady. She was sitting in the corner. She was sitting in the corner and she was getting ready for the MRI as well. So they, how they give you that dye stuff to drink.
Right.
So I remember her saying that she said the same thing. She said, "Baby, you're gonna be okay." And my mom's had to take her calls. My mom walked out. I go back and take the drink. And I take the drink, and I couldn't really drink it. So I came back out and sat down. And when I came back out there and sat down, my mom was out there. I was like, "Mama, where the old lady go?" She was like, "I came back in with no old lady here." I said, "Well, did she walk past you?" And she was like, "No." I was like, "Well, she ain't walk past me because I'm standing right here by the counter." Like, and she was like, mm-hmm. And like, I was just like, okay. So that whole time while I'm in there doing that MRI, I'm like, bro, I can't even drink to die. But they end up being able to see everything without me drinking to die. And on the way home that same night, my mom was just in tears about everything that was going on and just emotional. Just like
Hmm.
it was a lot. I remember police officer pulling us over, man. And and this was like the final moment of this is like I said, this is of my junior year in college, like the final moment when I knew that your faith, your belief system has to be strong. And police pulled us over, and he said the exact same thing that lady that walked in, that nurse that walked in, that old lady that walked in. He said he pulled us over. He said, I'm not pulling y'all over because y'all was speeding. He said, but something led me to pull y'all over and tell you that, man, he's gonna be all right. And I look up and look at him. It's like, how he even know I'm in here? Then I lay back and I look and I just lay back and start laughing. Like my mom just bust out in tears. But like those were moments in my college life like that I knew that I was destined for something greater.
Hmm.
When I got to the NFL, man, this was probably one of the like that college one was really powerful for me because I'm able to speak on that all you have to do is believe, but not just believe, but believe with knowing. Coming into the NFL, I came into a team they won a Super Bowl, they drafted the first rounder, they drafted the sixth rounder, and they had two priority free agents. I just knew that I had a special set of skills that I just felt like nobody could beat. So what my biggest defining moment was, I knew what the word focus means, but I was blessed with a vision to see the word driven. The word driven means dreams remain in vision every day and night. And I remember like all the odds was against me. Like you couldn't name an odd that wasn't against me that he was like, well, he can go play special teams. They just brought new special team guys in. He can go to offensive line. Well, they just drafted the offensive lineman. Where he can play, he can do defensive end. They just drafted defensive end. We can play nose tackle. They just paid their nose tackle. Well, you can play the other defensive end. Well, they just drafted two defensive ends. So like when I say every, I was fighting against all odds, and I remember just everything that I went through, and I was just like, man, listen, adversity. The word hard says how adversity remembers destiny. If you think your life is hard, if you think your life is hard, that's because of you. Like life doesn't have to be hard on your own term. If adversity can remember your destiny, why can't you? So I looked at that word. I was just like, man, you know what? My life ain't hard. It's just part of my testimony. I was like, I had to go through adversity, and that adversity helped me remember my destiny. And that's just how I look at it. So going through that year of my favorite first year, they just won the Super Bowl. And I was like, when I made the practice squad, I was like, I kind of celebrated. I was like, man, most people don't celebrate making the practice squad. They was just like, man, what you celebrating for? I said, man, because y'all don't see the bigger picture that's coming. Y'all don't see the blessing that's coming. Man, to find out when I retired, I was like, as defensive linemen, old linemen, only other than quarterbacks, I was the only one left. Like quarterbacks still play, but I was the only one left out of my class. Quarterbacks and kickers, I was the only one left out of my class, and I was undrafted, trial free agent. So like that
God,
was one of my
God is
biggest
good, man.
moments, the beginning to the end.
God is good, man. That's saying a lot in itself of everything that you went through and everything you believe in. And it's not just what you're going through; it's your mindset through it. Like you went through it, but you went through it mentally at a state where you were going to win, and you won. And most people don't believe that, but your mind, your thoughts, your tongue is strong. You speak it, you believe it, you're going to achieve it, man. And you did that, man. Proud of you, brother, man. I appreciate you coming on with us, man. Like I said, I ain't going to hold you long. But man, I appreciate you coming on with us, man, telling your story, telling your testimony, kind of giving us a little bit of background about what you do and how you train guys now in every sport and train your kids too in lacrosse. Traveling right now, man, traveling father right now, doing this thing, man. Steve McLendon, Super Bowl champion, Sun Belt champion, my ex teammate, man, my brother, man. I appreciate you. Got the kiddos. There they go.
Yeah.
I love it, man. Appreciate you, brother.
Hey, thank you for having me, man.
No
Thank you for
doubt. No
having me.
doubt. No doubt, bro. No doubt, man. Be safe on the road, man. We'll be talking with you soon, okay?
All right, I appreciate you once again, man. Anybody that's in the Georgia area, man, I have a facility gym. We call IVSA Team MVP. Um, man, we don't just do the natural, just the training, but we try to teach people about life on the field and off the field, life on the court, off the court, life in any sport, and life just as itself. Man, you understand the word life? The word life means living faith every day. I can't tell you what to believe in, but I can tell you to believe in yourself. And if you believe in yourself, then you can win for yourself. And I appreciate you having me today, man. And I'm just going to sit back and enjoy the kids for the rest of the day.
That is, brother. I appreciate you. We're gonna make sure we tag your gym and everything too on the post, man. I appreciate you, brother.
I appreciate you too, bro.
All right, we'll see you.